Once again, Chris, we have got a lot to get through this week, but the news of the day is that at the end of this season, Peter Lawwell steps down as Celtic chief executive. Is it news that's taken you by surprise, the timing of it, at least?
Well, this is a rumour which has been doing the rounds for a long time now, hasn't it? And that Peter was going to step down in the summer. I suppose, it's how Peter's time at the club is going to be viewed. He has been a extremely successful chief executive. The trophies he's won at Celtic, I think 29 in all. They've won 4 trebles. You look across the city where Rangers has been in a bit of turmoil. Over the years, Celtic have run a pretty steady ship under Peter Lawwell. Fact of the matter is, he wouldn't have wanted to leave this season. The fact that Celtic have blown 10 in a row, and I think he'll feel, slightly bad about that. But it's, what happens now? And there's a new guy coming in, Dominic McCoist, and everybody will be looking at the manager's position. Yeah. Now we know he's coming in the summer. But I suppose, the next step for Celtic is to make a decision on the manager. I can't imagine Dominic McCoist coming in and Neil Lennon still being there.
Well, who makes the decision right now then, Chris? Is it still a Peter Lawwell decision, do you think, about the future of the manager? Or does he now discuss it with Dominic McCoist, the COO of Scottish Rugby, by the way, I should add, who's now coming over to Celtic?
Yeah, well, look, the situation is this. I mean, if Dominic McCoist comes into the job in the summer and then he takes over and he keeps Neil Lennon in charge, that's not going to be a very positive start for him, is it? So I think that it's probably going to be that Peter Lawwell will make a decision on the manager's future and Celtic will get a new guy in place. That's what I think will happen, but we'll have to wait and see.
Is a sea change coming then, Ali, do you think?
Yeah, but I'm not surprised, guys. I was expecting massive changes from Celtic on and off the park, to tell you the truth. I think there'll be a turnover of players and playing staff as well. Not surprised me that Peter's gone. I've got to say Chris is correct. I think his tenure at Celtic has been successful in terms of the successes the club has brought. Clearly, he would have wanted to leave in a fanfare with 10 in a row, which you'd have to say at this stage looks as though it's not going to happen. I also think...
He's still not committing.
Incredible.
I also think he'll definitely be missed within the powers that he had within within Scottish football itself at Celtic.
What are you getting at there, Ali?
Oh, he was probably, out of all the clubs in the country, Chris, he was the most dominant figure within the league and the SFA, I would have thought. Would you disagree with that?
Well, he worked his way up. I didn't know what you were getting at there.
No, I was just making a statement of fact for the
That's unusual for you.
In my opinion, it's a statement of fact. He was very much a bit large figure at whether it be SFA meetings, SPL meetings. I would imagine he was able to pick up the phone and get who was in charge of the SFA or the SPFL or whoever it was, Doncaster. He would be able to get them immediately. Well, probably by email as well, believe it or not, and phone. So I think that I think he will be.
You're suggesting his emails go straight into the inbox, Ali?
I think they would. There you are. Call it old-fashioned. It might just be a hunch. I think Peter's emails would have went straight into Neil's inbox.
I suppose there will be Celtic fans who would have been, looking at. I think that they talked about Peter Lawwell going for a while now. Has he taken his eye off the ball at the wrong time? And questioning maybe, if there were talks, this has been ongoing for a while, maybe a year, then why did Peter Lawwell not leave last summer, I suppose? But can understand his situation. I think he wanted the big fanfare to leave with 10 in a row and history, but that hasn't happened.
How would you think he'll be looked by the Celtic support? Clearly, as we've said, there's been a vast amount of success. But do you think him and Dermot Desmond will be held responsible along with and culpable, along with Neil Lennon, for not achieving the 10?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. What we do know is that being a chief executive at a football club is a thankless task, and I think Celtic fans will be thinking that Peter Lawwell was part of the team which blew 10 in a row. But you have to flip that as well. And, we have to be fair to Peter. He's overseen Celtic winning 4 trebles, numerous trophies, Celtic being the dominant team in Scotland. So, I think all things being equal, we look at his track record is there. And I think, he's, he was a guy who was chief executive when they got rid of me, which was a terrible, terrible mistake, probably the biggest mistake he made. And
best move he's ever made.
He'd have been regretting that for years. But I think we have to say he's done a pretty good job in trying times. It's not an easy job being chief executive of a football club. He could have done better, but look what's happened across the city. He could have done far worse.
And you talk about the financial position there, Chris. Ali, the financial position even better now in many ways, certainly in terms of the bank balance, because they've just sold another player in Jeremy Frimpong for a lot of money as well. But the Celtic fans will look at this in 2 ways, you'd think, because they want to try and rebuild during the summer, don't they? Is he one of the players you would have wanted to keep regardless of the financial situation and the offer that's come in?
Listen, I don't think for a second that Celtic will have received exactly the money that's been thrown about. It'll be one of these deals that'll be made up. There'll be a figure, and then there'll be appearances, and it'll be all that kind of stuff. Then you do hear there was a percentage sell on going back to, was it Manchester City? That said,
30%, yep.
Yeah. That said, the bottom line is the player didn't want to stay.
What's interesting is Neil has come out and said, he's not the only one who didn't want to be here. And it looks like there's a lot of players who want to jump ship. So, it's up to Neil, actually, to sort the dressing room out and turn the Celtic dressing room into a happy place again. It doesn't seem to be a happy place, it seems, and it's up to the manager to sort it out. Notice he's thrown Barkas under the bus, come out publicly, criticise him. Has its dangers doing that when you want to come out and publicly criticise a player, and you wonder if you're Barkas reading that he's come out, it's fine in the sanctuary of the dressing room, criticise me at one-to-one meetings, whatever, but to come out and slaughter him in the way which he has done, you're wondering whether Barkas has a future at Celtic. Now, he hasn't been particularly good in goal. He's barely made a save this season.
Celtic have been all over the place this year. Let's be honest about it. They were going for, the holy grail, I heard it called, of 10 in a row. And it's been an unmitigated disaster, right? Simple as. And Sham doesn't look happy. I'm not sure Edward looks happy. Griffiths come back unfit. The whole thing has been, frankly, I think unacceptable for Celtic supporters. I genuinely do.
And the other side of it, Ali, of course, you're talking about all those problems. Rangers, they just keep on rolling. A victory away at Hibs, one of those games that you had marked down on your list of difficult, but if they get through that, you might make a big statement this week, you said. Are you ready for it?
Not quite. I'm not quite ready for it. Because...
When will you be ready?
Maybe next week, if Rangers beat St Johnstone, I think they'll get St Johnstone at home next week. I might be making a big announcement next week, Chris. Stay tuned, okay? But in all seriousness...
St Johnstone, Hamilton and Kilmarnock to come.
Yeah, big games. Big games.
Tricky.
But the big result was always going to be the one in midweek. I was concerned about the pitch. I saw the pitch when Hibs beat Kelly 2-0, I think it was. I thought it would be a leveler. But I thought there was one or two absolutely outstanding performances, none more so than Glenn Kamara, who I have to tell you, boys, I thought that was as good a performance as I've seen from a midfielder in a long, long time. I thought he was immense, and clearly Morelos getting the goal, other incidents going on in the game. But make no mistake about it, listen guys, that was the result probably that you'd look back and say, well, maybe that's just about clinched Rangers the league, that, because that was the one I think, if there were any lingering doubts, that was the one I would have said.
Wasn't short of controversy again though, Chris, was it? I mean, Alfredo Morelos, who scores the winning goal in the game, a lot of question marks whether or not he should have been on the pitch.
Yeah, I noticed. I noticed Ali ducked that one. Look, I mean, the whole situation with Morelos has been farcical for a long time, hasn't it? It seems in Scotland, I mean, the standard of refereeing has been appalling. They're possibly the worst group of referees in the world. I've seen other decisions this week, the penalty decisions at Dundee United, absolutely shocking. But how long is Morelos going to get away with this? I mean, I think that, quite frankly, Rangers and Morelos intimidate referees. They frighten referees. Referees don't are scared to make a decision on him, pull out the red card. I think there have been 4 occasions this season where Morelos could have and should have been sent off. You know, we saw last season numerous occasions. He's an accident waiting to happen.
Was it a surprise? Nah, not a surprise at all, because we've seen it, I don't know, 4 or 5 times this season. The only issue, and I take Chris's point, the issue I've got is the referee's got a brilliant view of it, right? And he's come out and said he thought it was a tangle of legs and he gave Morelos the benefit of the doubt. That's fine, right? That's his opinion. I didn't necessarily agree with it either, Chris.
It was a martial arts move.
And then in the second half, there's an incident with Dan McGregor and Kamara, which a lot of people would say is the same thing.
Scared. They're scared of the referees. Are scared of the whole Morelos situation and Steven Gerrard's influence and power. Yeah,
Come on, Chris.
That's the way it is.
Do you really? You really believe that?
Yes.
Scared of a player?
I do. Yes. Well. So how did he stay on the field then? Therefore, if the referee has a really good view of the incident, everybody's seen what
to say it's a bad decision, Chris, but to say they're scared to make the decision's completely different again.
What?
Chris,
it's a poor decision. How many poor decisions have there been over Morelos and stamping and hitting out over the seasons when he's gotten away with it? Come on.
Now, the bottom line is the referee's, made a mistake. He's not made a mistake through fear. Or
so how many honest mistakes have there been over the last couple of seasons with Morelos? He basically does what he wants. Is that Come on.
You're clouding the water a little bit and making a lot of this Morelos incident when we should be talking about the fact that Rangers are 23 points ahead.
He should have been sent off, Daryl, up to double figures in Scottish football. The amount of times he's hit out and lashed out and he's gotten away with it. That's a fact. I could produce 10 pieces of evidence. In fact, I'm going to make it my mission for next week to produce 10 pieces of evidence where Morelos has hit out and kicked out and should have been sent off. And of course, Steven Gerrard protects him. But here's one for you. Shush. Here's one for you. Ali, serious one. When does Steven Gerrard's patience run out with Morelos?
I mean, I know you don't listen to me quite a lot, but I've said on numerous occasions that you struggle to trust. You would struggle to trust Alfredo Morelos.
They keep on obviously doing business in the transfer market as well. They've gone to Bournemouth. They brought Jack Simpson in, a left-sided centre-half. Looks like Namdi Offabor is going to join as well from Bournemouth. That deal's almost done. Scott Wright's been done for the summer as well. I mean, do you like these bits of business?
I think that what I do like more than anything is the business is getting done right now. That's probably the thing that's striking me. Not messing about. Hopefully get the league over the line, get a few players in, get the boys a break, and then come back ready to go. I think it makes sense. I really think it makes sense. I like the fact. There's an organisation back about Rangers. That doesn't guarantee success, but they look as though they know.
You having a pop at Celtic there?
Not at all. Wow, me? Not at all.
Sounded like it.
Okay.
Well, you carry on with your cheap shots.